Alright, this question, I actually really love this question. First of all, it makes me hungry every time I read this or solve this question. And second, it's a great question that illustrates all the different principles of analytical puzzles. So here's the question. It says, at the snack cafe at a party, there are 4 folks, Ali, Beena, Champak and Diya, and they're eating cookies. There are 5 flavors of cookies. You have chocolate chip, oatmeal, sugar, peanut butter and raisin. So I've put that down in this table here just to make it easy for us to capture all the data. So you have Ali, Beena, Champak and Diya on this side, and you have chocolate chip, oatmeal, sugar, peanut butter and raisin. These are the columns. Alright, and I've just kept them in the same order as what is given in the question. Now the first condition, this whole question is about a lot of conditions and meeting them all simultaneously. That is what this whole question is about. The first condition is, each of these 4 people eats at least 2 kinds of cookies. Now, when I'm filling data in this table, I'm going to use a tick to mean that somebody has eaten that kind of cookie. I'm going to use a cross to mean that somebody is definitely not eaten or cannot eat or will not eat that kind of cookie. So, and if there's nothing, if it's just an empty cell, that means we don't know. We are not given enough information to populate that cell. So tick means definitely eaten, cross means definitely not eaten, empty means we don't know. This condition, each of these 4 people eats at least 2 kinds of cookies, it means that in each row should have at least 2 ticks, right? Each row is 1 person and each person eats at least 2 kinds of cookies. So each row should have at least 2 ticks. So each row, the tick count should be greater than or equal to 2. This is my first condition. Now let's start reading these bullet points. This one says, at most 2 of them eat oatmeal cookies. So for oatmeal, you have less than or equal to 2 because it says at most. At most 2 of them eat oatmeal cookies. So the number of ticks in the oatmeal column has to be less than or equal to 2. There's a similar condition here, but it's actually the opposite. At least 2 of them eat sugar cookies. So this one is actually sugar is greater than or equal to 2 because it says at least 2. So the number of ticks in the sugar column should be greater than or equal to 2. Okay. Then this next point says, Ali does not eat any sugar cookies. So this is a relief. This is the first definite piece of information that we have got. So we can go ahead and happily put a cross for Ali. Ali does not eat any sugar cookies. Okay. Then we have Beena and Champak do not eat the same type of cookies. This is an interesting statement. So let's take a second to explore what this means. One obvious meaning is, if there is a type of cookie, let's say chocolate chip, and Beena is eating it, then automatically it means Champak will not eat it. So this is obvious, this is fine. And vice versa also it applies. So for example, if it is raisin and Champak is eating it, Beena will not eat it. That's okay. But how about if there is a cookie type, let's say peanut butter, and they both don't eat it? Is that acceptable? Is that possible? It is, it very much is. This is also okay because the statement says Beena and Champak do not eat the same type of cookies, but they both can leave the same type of cookies. There is no requirement that together they have to eat all the cookies. It doesn't mean that. So it could be that each of them eats 2 different types of cookies and there is one 5th type which neither of them has had, and that is absolutely fine. So this is an important point. Otherwise there's nothing else that we can capture from here to put on the table. So we have just read and understood this. Look at this one. It says Beena eats chocolate chip cookies. So you put a tick for Beena for chocolate chip. Using this previous point, automatically this means there is a cross for Champak because Beena and Champak don't eat the same type of cookies. Beena eats chocolate chip, so Champak cannot eat chocolate chip. Exactly same logic. Champak eats sugar cookies, so I put a tick here. Automatically that means it's a cross for Beena. Automatically. So we have now covered till this. Let's look at the next point. No one eats both raisin and sugar cookies. So Champak is eating sugar cookies, so automatically he cannot eat raisin cookies. That's fine. And the last point, if someone eats raisin cookies, they also eat peanut butter cookies. So we don't have anybody who is eating raisin cookies, but what it is saying is that if there is a tick, hypothetically if let's say Ali was eating a raisin cookie, then automatically Ali has to eat a peanut butter cookie also. It's compulsory. You don't have a choice. If you're eating raisin, then you will automatically also eat peanut butter. These are just hypothetical, so I'm going to scratch them out. These are not actual things. This was just for explanation. Now, we have not yet captured all the data. We still have something else left. You remember in the beginning we said that the number of ticks in each column, we had some rules for that, right? Let's look at this sugar one first. So we said the number of ticks in the sugar column should be greater than or equal to 2. From this point, at least 2 of them eat sugar cookies. Now, there are already crosses for Ali and Bina. So that means compulsorily there has to be a tick for Dia, because the number of ticks in this column has to be greater than or equal to 2, right? Now, from this second last rule, no one eats both raisin and sugar cookies. That means even Dia cannot eat a raisin cookie. That is also automatically ruled out. So this is all the information that you can glean. Can you apply anything else? Each row should have at least 2 ticks. We can't use that to populate anymore, right? It's possible that there might be 2 ticks and still all the conditions are met. Oatmeal should have not more than 2 ticks. Right now oatmeal is completely empty. So there is no more information we can gather just from the question. So the table has some ticks, some crosses and a lot of empty space. This is a question where there is less information. There is a lot of ambiguity. You will be given further information in each sub question and you have to apply that to get the answer. How to do that? Let's see in the sub questions that follow. Okay, so the first one, I've kept the question here. I've already made this table with the information that we got just from reading this information. I've captured all of that here so that we don't have to do it again and again. Also the ticks information, the minimum ticks per column and per row, that also I've put here so that we can refer to it. This is what we have to actually answer, right? The question is, which one of the following must be true? Must be true, always, right? A part, Champak eats chocolate chip cookies. So it is not true. You can see that it's exactly false. So A is not an option because Champak definitely doesn't eat chocolate chip cookies. Because Bina is eating chocolate chip and Champak and Bina don't eat the same type of cookie. So A is not the answer. Ali eats chocolate chip cookies. Now there is a blank for Ali. We don't know, right? We don't have information enough to decide if Ali should eat or should not eat a chocolate chip cookie. So B, we just don't have enough information to say yes or no. How about C? Bina does not eat peanut butter cookies. This is also a blank. Both of these are blanks. We just don't have enough information right now to decide if B or C are true. We just don't know. How about option D? Dia does not eat raisin cookies. This is Dia, this is the raisin column, Dia. We know for sure that this is true, right? We concluded that anybody who eats sugar cookie cannot eat raisin cookie. We already know that Dia for sure eats sugar cookie, so she can't eat raisin. So D is going to be always true. So D is the right answer to this question. This is a question where the whole thing revolves around the grammar of the question. If you are able to notice the important word correctly, the question is very easy. Otherwise, it's very hard. See, the question says, which pair of cookie types could each be eaten by at least 3 different people? The most important word according to me is each. The thing is, what this now translates to is that there will be pairs given to you. Each of the 4 choices is a pair of cookie types. Each of these cookies has to be eaten by at least 3 different people. So both of the cookies have to be eaten by 3 different people. Does it mean that the 3 people here have to be different from the 3 people here? No, it does not, and it can't also, because you have only 4 people totally. So it can't mean that. What it does mean is that if you have cookie type A and cookie type B in your pair, in each of these options, if you have A and B as a type of cookies, then A should be eaten by 3 people, B should be eaten by 3 people. And they are asking which pair is it possible? Which pair can this condition apply? Once you understand this, it's actually very easy. The question is very easy. If you notice that 3 of the choices have oatmeal in them. Oatmeal, you know, can be eaten at most by 2 people. That is given to us, right? At most 2 of them eat oatmeal cookies. So immediately the 3 condition gets violated. If oatmeal is one of these types of cookies, immediately the condition violates. So A is not an option, B is not an option, D is not an option. You are left only with C as the right answer. Chocolate chip and peanut butter. There is no restriction. Chocolate chip and peanut butter, both of them could be eaten by at least 3 people, and that is your right answer. See, this question is the kind of question that I like to call the freebie question. You know how when you buy something online and you get something for free with it, or even if you go shopping and you buy a bottle of something and you get something else free with it. This is one of those questions. Even if you found the rest of it very tough and you were not able to solve the other questions, as long as you're able to make this table and get these basic questions, these basic conditions, this question is free for you. Why? Let's see. Which pair of cookie types contains a cookie type eaten by exactly 2 different people? This is already done, right? You know that the sugar cookies, there are exactly 2 people who are eating it, for sure. Whatever may happen in all the other columns, this is for sure. 2 people are not going to eat it, which are Ali and Beena, and 2 people are definitely eating it, Champak and Diya. So, sugar is your type of cookie, which is eaten by exactly 2 people. Look at the choices. There is only one choice which contains sugar as one of the types of cookies. See, it says which pair of cookie types contains a cookie type eaten by exactly 2 different people. So, if let's say you had a pair of cookies X and Y, all they're asking for is that at least one of this X or Y, just one, is eaten by exactly 2 people. That is sugar. And there is only one choice with sugar in it. So the answer is D. That's why I said this is a freebie question. If you understand this and you made the table, this question is for free. Even if you don't get the other questions, you get this one. Alright, here's where things now get really interesting. The question says, if Beena eats exactly 3 kinds of cookies, which one of the following must be true? Before we even read the choices, first we need to understand what kinds of cookies Beena is going to eat. So, Beena, we know for sure she's eating chocolate chip, and there are 3 blanks: oatmeal, peanut butter, raisin. So we don't know of these 2, of these 3, which are the 2 more that she is going to choose to eat exactly 3 kinds, right? She's already eating 1, we just have to choose 2 more from among these 3. We don't know, so let's try all the options and see which one it turns out to be. Let's say that she eats oatmeal and peanut butter. Let's say. Now, first thing is, we know that Beena and Champak don't eat the same type of cookies. So automatically this means Champak cannot eat oatmeal, Champak cannot eat peanut butter. This is not fine. This is not fine because we have this condition. Each row should have at least 2 ticks. Where did we get this from? We got it from this sentence. Each of these 4 people eats at least 2 kinds of cookies. And if you have put so many crosses for Champak, his only tick is for sugar, then this condition gets violated. So you can't have a new information which violates one of the given conditions in the question. So this is not possible. This is not possible. Alright, so that didn't work out. Let's try some other option. Let's say that Beena eats oatmeal and raisin. So what happens then? First thing is, if someone eats raisin cookies, they also eat peanut butter cookies. So right there, suddenly Beena is eating peanut butter also, but she's supposed to eat exactly 3 kinds of cookies. So you can't have her eating 4. So this also fails. It would have also failed because Champak has to eat at least 2 cookies, and this would have crossed out those also for him. He would get only sugar. So this also doesn't work. Now let's try something else. So I think we are left with no options except to say that Beena eats raisin and peanut butter, right? And she does not eat oatmeal. She's not eating oatmeal. The exact 3 types of cookies that she's eating are chocolate chip, peanut butter and raisin. Now, we've done this by a process of iteration. How would you do this faster in the exam? Well, frankly, you can't. If you're lucky enough that you guess raisin and peanut butter in the beginning, that's great. If you don't, then you just have to go through it. It's just, all I can hope is that you make the table, and once you make the table, use a pencil or something so that you're much faster. But you really just have to go through this process of iteration. So anyway, now we know for sure, at least for this question, that if Beena is eating exactly 3 kinds of cookies, then it can only and only be chocolate chip, peanut butter and raisin. Moment you put this down, you know that Champak cannot eat peanut butter because he and Beena can't be eating the same type of cookies. So that is a cross for Champak. Moment you put that cross, oatmeal has to become a tick for Champak because each person has to eat at least 2 different types of cookies. So this much information you got. Now let's look at the conditions, or rather the options. Option A is saying Champak eats exactly 3 kinds of cookies. This is absolutely wrong. Champak is eating exactly 2 kinds of cookies. So A is wrong. Second option is saying Diya eats only sugar cookies. This we can easily say it's wrong because we have this condition, right? The question itself says that each person has to eat at least 2 kinds of cookies. So B you can rule out very quickly. Option C, if Ali eats oatmeal cookies, Diya eats oatmeal cookies. See, now you have just now put a cross for oatmeal for Beena and a tick for Champak. Now if you put another tick for Ali, then you already put 2 ticks in the oatmeal column. But you have a rule that the number of ticks in the oatmeal column has to be less than or equal to 2, right? You have this rule that says at most 2 of them eat oatmeal cookies. So you can't have a third tick for Diya. So option C is also gone because it can't work that way. You can't put this tick and then have another third tick for Diya because oatmeal can be eaten only by 2 people at the most. So C is gone, which leaves you only with option D, which you already know is the right answer because you already implied it. Champak eats oatmeal cookies. Now, one tip I'll point out here, you must have noticed in all these questions which require you to read through the choices, the right choice turns out to be C or D. This is not an accident. This is very, very deliberate. This is the examiner trying to make you waste your time by reading through each of the options. Whenever, this is something you have to be developing, this is an instinct you have to develop and become sensitive to. Whenever you see that the question requires you to read through each choice, think or do something, some action, start from the bottom. Start from the bottom. Never go from the top. There is a very good chance that the answer would be either D or C. So the faster you get the answer, the faster you can move to the next question. So this is a tip I'll say, not just for this, but for any question, be it verbal, be it LR, be it quant. You should start from the bottom if you think that the question requires you to look at each choice. Anyway, the answer for this one is D. Champak eats oatmeal cookies. Okay, another question that requires us to do a little bit of thinking. Which one of the following cannot be true? Option A, no one eats raisin cookies. So they're asking if can there be all crosses in the raisin column. We have not received any information that says that this can't be true. So it's possible, right? It's possible that nobody eats raisin cookies. We don't know for sure. If we place crosses in for Ali and for Beena, still no rules are being violated. Everybody is fine. Everything is fine. So A is not your answer. How about B? Ali and Diya both eat oatmeal cookies. So this is interesting. What happens if I place a tick here and a tick here? We have a rule that says there should be less than or equal to 2 ticks in the oatmeal column, right? At most 2 of them eat oatmeal cookies. So that means automatically there is a cross for Beena and Champak. Now we have another rule that says each row should have at least 2 ticks, right? Each of these 4 people eats at least 2 kinds of cookies. So that rule tells us that automatically there is a tick here. We are still okay so far. Nothing has been broken. We are still okay. So we know that Champak is eating only 2 cookies, which are sugar and peanut butter. Then what happens? Beena also has to have at least 2 kinds of cookies. She can't have peanut butter because she and Champak can't eat the same kind. So she will have to eat raisin. And here comes the problem. Because if someone eats raisin cookies, they also eat the peanut butter cookies. So Beena has to eat the peanut butter cookies, but she can't because Champak is already eating peanut butter. So that is a contradiction. So option B cannot happen. This is for sure cannot be true. So your answer is option B. To be sure, let's look at C and D also. C is saying Ali and Diya both eat chocolate chip cookies. Ali and Diya eating chocolate chip, there's nothing wrong with that. If this was a tick or a cross, it doesn't affect the rest of the board, right? There is no condition on the chocolate chip column. There is no condition on that gets violated with either of these rows. So C is still possible. We don't know. It may be happening, may not be happening. We don't know. How about option D? Beena and Champak eat the same number of kinds of cookies. See, this is the thing I was telling you in the beginning when we were reading the question. What this is essentially saying is that there are totally 5 kinds of cookies. Maybe 2 are being eaten by Beena, 2 are being eaten by Champak, and there might be this one that is being eaten by nobody among Beena or Champak. And this is not a violation of this condition. Beena and Champak do not eat the same type of cookies. This is okay. As per this condition, this is also okay. And that's really what this option is testing. It's asking if you got confused by reading this and you decided to think that Beena and Champak don't eat the same type of cookies means that it should be 3 plus 2. No, it doesn't, right? It could be 2 plus 2 also, and there might be one that nobody is eating. So that's what is being tested. So option D also is possible. The only thing that cannot be true is option B. So that's our answer. So the answer to this question, actually it came for free in the previous question, because we already saw there that if we put all 4 crosses for raisin, nothing was getting violated. But let's still do it systematically. The question is asking which cookie type could be eaten by none of the people. Could be, right? The word is could. And the options are: A is chocolate chip. That cannot be true because we know for sure Beena is eating chocolate chip, right? We are given that in the question. So A is wrong. Oatmeal. Now this is interesting. If we put all 4 crosses for oatmeal, what does that give us? It is not violating this condition. This condition was the number of ticks in this column should be less than or equal to 2. It doesn't have to be equal to 2. It could be 1 also. It could be 0 also. So 0 is fine. But each row should have at least 2 ticks because each person is eating at least 2 kinds of cookies. So Champak automatically gets a tick in peanut butter. And now you remember the old violation, right? If he is getting a tick in peanut butter, then Beena gets a cross. That means Beena has to compulsorily eat raisin now because she also needs at least 2 ticks in this row. But anybody who eats raisin has to eat peanut butter. And for Beena now that is a contradiction, right? She can't eat it and not eat it. So oatmeal also is cancelled. It can't be that nobody eats oatmeal. Then you have sugar. Sugar, you already figured out that 2 people are definitely eating sugar. So that is also cancelled. The only option and the right option is option D, which is raisin. You could have all crosses in raisin and still that would fly. It is not breaking any rules. It's not disobeying any laws. So it's possible that nobody eats a raisin cookie. Alright, this was a really interesting question. Thanks for watching.